women came before her, what they did cannot be taken away. That ain't got nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. I would be remiss if I didn't say this. A lot of this noise came by people that were sitting on this network. They tried to minimize her, said, well, you giving her all this credit. What about the women that came before her?
Have you seen Caitlin Clark's recent circumstances? After just 90 seconds of gameplay, whoa, her left eye is black. Dijonai Carrington is being called out by Shannon Sharpe, who is going crazy over what he claims was no accident. The real deal, though, is this. The referees? Not even a whistle was blown by them. What is the WNBA's current state? Imagine this. With her eyes swollen, Clark appears to have just finished a 12-round boxing match as she stands on the court. Not in a good way, but the crowd is going crazy. They can't believe what they're seeing, and they're both shocked and furious. And the referees? They seem to be unaware of what has just occurred, as if they are in a different reality. Shannon Sharpe isn't just angry right now, he's furious. Things are going to get real when Sharpe gets fired up. He's not just criticizing Carrington, he's asking for significant adjustments to the WNBA. What modifications are there? That, after all, is the key question. However, I assure you that you will want to stay on to find out. This could alter the entire game. It's not just about one hit.
But there was a lot of people trying to make sure they keep Caitlin Clark in her place, because what you're doing, if you give her all this shine, you minimize what they done. You can't minimize what Maya Moore or Candace Parker.
I would like to ask you for a small favor before we continue. Would you kindly take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this content? More than 98% of you view the videos without becoming subscribers. It doesn't cost you anything, but for us, it really matters. Did you then press the subscribe button? Fantastic. I really appreciate it. Let us return to the video. Shannon Sharpe isn't just angry. He's determined to expose what he perceives to be a risky WNBA play. However, what precisely enraged Sharpe? He's not just angry. He's certain that this wasn't a straightforward mishap. What had he seen to give him such confidence? And why does he believe that the WNBA could be doomed if the officials remain silent? Let's dissect it. When Sharpe denounced Dijonai Carrington's hit on Caitlin Clark, he didn't hold back. Without hesitation, he declared, "I don't care what nobody says that was intentional." It's a bold statement, isn't it? Sharpe isn't giving up, though. He insists that an eye poke like that is not an accident. He is discussing player control and keeping your hands where you want them on the court. This is where it gets really intense, though. Sharpe's ire extends beyond Carrington. He is furious with the referees. Why? Since they took no action. Is it really true? The whistle doesn't blow after one of the WNBA's biggest stars gets jabbed in the eye. Sharpe is concerned that this might create a risky precedent. Who will intervene to defend players if the referees don't? And you know what's actually igniting Sharpe's passion? He is making NBA comparisons. He poses the important queries, such as, would it be acceptable if LeBron James had been stabbed in the eye?
But we should have been giving her the credit. We saw the ratings, we saw the merchandise sales, we saw the attendance, but y'all want to make it about something else. Oh, what about the women that laid the foundation?
In Sharpe's opinion, no. He's saying that this situation involves a double standard and he won't accept it. He is calling for WNBA players like Clark to have greater protection. However, Sharpe is not referring to this particular instance alone. He's enlarging his view to take in the wider scene, saying that Clark is among the league's most talented players. He should have greater protection. Setting the bar for the entire WNBA is more important than any one game or player. And here's the thing. Sharpe isn't absolving anyone. He's arguing that athletes like Carrington ought to have more motor control. Long fingernails? That's not a valid defense in Sharpe's view. Accountability is what he is demanding, starting with the players and ending with the league administration. What is Sharpe's main request then? The NBA needs to do something about this, he is saying. But specifically what? The question that matters greatly is that, does he want more regulations? More severe penalties? Improved instruction for referees? Whatever the case, Sharpe has stated unequivocally that he won't stop until he sees some results.
That ain't got nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is box office. She's doing this. And instead of giving her credit, y'all tried to make it about, oh, y'all poo-pooing the old guard.
The true drama was playing out on the court, even though everyone was talking about Sharpe's call for change. After that eye poke, Clark's game took a serious hit. We're talking about a significant decline. In the span of a single glance, we can go from being a superstar to a struggling player. It's time to dissect the numbers because they will astound you. Even though Clark was usually a precise shooter, she appeared to be unfamiliar with the basketball. That works out to 23.5% from the field. That's disastrous for a player of her caliber, not just awful. And with a three-pointer, 11 for 2. Hurt. What did Sharpe say about this, do you know? He was spot on when he said, "You can't expect someone to shoot at their best when they've been poked in the eye." He was absolutely correct. It's about throwing off your entire game, not just the physical pain. With just one poke, your confidence, rhythm, and focus are all gone. This is where things get really crazy though. This had more to do with Clark's individual statistics. Everything about the game went haywire. The ultimate result? Sun 93, Fever 69. That is a blowout, not just a loss. And you have to ask yourself, how much of that was influenced by what transpired with Clark during those initial 90 seconds? Consider it. Clark isn't your average athlete. She's a catalyst, a game changer. The entire team can tell when she's not playing at her best. And in this one, boy, did they feel it. It's similar to witnessing a car trying to win a race with a flat tire. It's simply not happening. You know what's even more absurd though? It's not just about one player or one game here. This has to do with the WNBA's future. Why? Why does the league stand to lose if elite players like Clark can be removed from the game with such ease and no repercussions? What if this continued to happen? Imagine if a star player had to worry about being hit, prodded, or otherwise interfered with every time they stepped onto the court. That's a ball fight on the street, not basketball. Fans don't want to see that either. So yes, Sharpe is furious. The supporters are furious. More than that though, they're concerned. Since this goes beyond Clark and this particular game, it concerns the league that the WNBA aspires to be. Do they wish to be a league in which the top players are allowed to excel? Or a league in which every play is made with the best players watching over their shoulder? Though Carrington and Clark are the center of attention, there's more going on here. What if the fate of women's basketball is decided at this very moment? Everything for the players, the supporters, and the sport as a whole could change in the coming weeks. The WNBA community is on fire as a result of Shannon Sharpe's remarks. And it's no longer just about one hit or one game. We are discussing the possibility of a revolution in women's basketball. Now that the Caitlin Clark incident has opened up a can of worms, hard questions are being asked by all. Consider it. What would happen if elite athletes began to feel uneasy on the court? It is possible that a new era of basketball will emerge in which the top players are preoccupied with watching other players rather than concentrating on their own play. Surely that's not the WNBA that we know and adore. This is where things get really interesting though. The players are no longer the only thing on this. Supporters are joining the fight head on and aren't holding back. Calls for the league to take action and support for Clark are exploding on social media. The WNBA cannot ignore the outpouring of concern and rage that is akin to a tidal wave. Know what's absurd? This might be the league's wake-up call. This could be the big incident that ignites real change. Sometimes it takes one. We're not simply discussing giving Carrington a reprimand. We are discussing solutions that could change the game. Consider this. Improved training for referees to enable them to identify these risky plays before they occur. Alternatively, how about harsher sanctions for athletes who overstep the mark? It is possible that regulations will be implemented to safeguard elite athletes. Because of what transpired with Clark, there are countless options. The crucial question is though, will the WNBA genuinely take action in this regard? It is the sight that all are eager to witness. This goes beyond merely issuing a warning or a fine. This is about establishing a new benchmark for women's basketball player safety. Furthermore, what do you know? In this too, the fans have a significant role to play. Their opinions are important. It gets harder for the league to overlook the problem the more noise they create. Because fans voice their desire for change, the WNBA may soon give rise to a more equitable and safe league. What comes next then? Right now, everyone is focused on the WNBA. Will they investigate the event? Will they alter in order to safeguard players such as Clark? Will they ignore it and hope that nobody remembers? The future of the sport may depend on the events of the next few weeks. Thus, here we are. The entire WNBA is in a frenzy after just one eye poke. Fans are going crazy. Shannon Sharpe is fired up, and everyone is wondering what the future holds for women's basketball. It's no longer just about Dijonai Carrington or Caitlin Clark. It has to do with the game's future. Will the WNBA take charge and alter its ways? Will they ignore it, or will they? Now for the really biggie. In this case, your opinion counts. Yes, you. the people who adore this game, the viewers and fans. What ought to occur, in your opinion? Should this incident be reviewed by the league? Do we need new regulations to safeguard players? Recall that more than just the players and officials decide what will happen to women's basketball in the future. It's also in yours. Your input could improve and make the game safer for all players. What will it be then?